I've been having all sorts of problems with my lemon and lime trees, so I've decided it is time to become an expert in how to care for citrus trees. That's why I'm off to Jamie's house today. She's a guru at all this sort of stuff. She's going to give us a 15-minute crash course on looking after lemon and citrus trees. She's going to take us through how to feed a lemon tree and keep it healthy, how to spot problems before they become really big problems, how to spot pests and deal with them quickly, and absolutely everything else you need to know about citrus trees in order to get the maximum amount of fruit.
Those are the wasp babies.
The last time we were in your garden, we filmed a video about irrigation, and that video has actually gone crazy.
I'm so glad. It was a lot of fun to do.
I think it's had over 50,000 views now, which is amazing.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So people obviously love what you've got to share because you're a bit of an expert, and I have a lot of problems with lemons.
I think a lot of people do. I think they're kind of like, they're so common, but they actually are prone to a lot of issues. This lemon was kindly gifted to me from my mother's group, and it is making wonderful lemons.
So nice.
Which is great.
And this is quite a new house for you, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We're still establishing the garden, and I was really happy that this one transferred from a pot at our old house to this new spot, and it seems very happy.
Let's start off with what we need to be doing regularly, even if you're not experiencing any problems. How do you care for a lemon tree?
I think feeding is the biggest thing, because they're really, really hungry. Like, if you want nice lemons, you have to feed the tree for it to feed you, sort of thing. And they take a lot of energy to actually make lemons. So definitely doing like a granular fertilizer twice a year. And like, it'll have instructions about how much to do, but just like scatter it around the base. This one isn't like specifically for citrus, but I used to use, I did use one that was just for citrus for years, and it was really great, and I just ran out. So I'll do that.
So we're not sponsoring any of these products, just to clarify, but I'm going to show you exactly what Jamie's using. So she's got Osmocote all-purpose controlled release fertilizer. There's likely to be a bunch of noises that you hear, so apologies in advance. There's some building happening next door. It's school holidays, so we have 4 of our 5 combined children running around. There's the drilling, and there's just a lot going on, but we're just going to press on anyway. So you would do that every
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. And then ideally you would do a liquid feed every 2 weeks. Now, I don't do it that often because I don't have the time, but kind of whenever I remember, you do a little squirt of a liquid fertilizer. I like sea salt or their power feed, but it can be anything that's sort of in that realm. A little trick, this is a top off of a tomato sauce one, because they just come out.
That's amazing.
They just come like that, and it's a lot harder to control it. So with this one, you can just take it and you can squirt just a teeny bit into your can.
That is genius.
And then it's much easier for cleanup. And then you fill that with water, and you water around the base every 2 weeks, and then that really feeds the tree nicely.
Sea salt, I know with a lot of veggies, sea salt isn't enough to sort of sustain them. Do you feel like sea salt is enough for a regular lemon fertilizer?
It's kind of like a top up, or like, because it's happening regularly, and then you also do the granular every 6 months.
Okay.
And I also compost once a year as well.
Yeah.
But the thing to remember when you put on compost or fertilizer is that you don't want to dig it in. You just want to put it on the top, because lemons have really shallow root systems. Like, all their feeder roots are right at the surface. So if you're digging around and digging in your fertilizer, you're just disturbing their root system. So you just want to sprinkle it on the top and let them feed from what's there.
We've covered the 6 monthly fertilizer and the regular fertilizer. Is there anything else that you put on in terms of supplements, things that you add?
Regular watering is really important, but then once a year in the late winter or early spring, so like August or September, you want to kind of give it some really good TLC, because the plant has finished doing fruit for the winter, and it's put all its energy into that, and it will be kind of depleted. So what you want to do is you definitely want to top up your 2 fertilizers that we've already talked about. I also do a foliar feed, and that's when you put some fertilizer into water and you actually spray it or like water it onto the leaves, and then the leaves will like take up that as well. So what we can include there is some Epsom salts, so that has magnesium in it. Iron chelate, and this can go into the foliar feed and also around the base because...
What's that? I don't think I've ever seen that.
So this is just a powdered version of iron. So citrus trees really need a lot of iron, and for some reason they're very prone to iron deficiency and like nutrient deficiency. And you actually see on these leaves, they're starting to get a bit yellow. And you can kind of see like the veining is not nice and green and solid like these leaves.
So that can be iron deficiency.
This could be an iron deficiency. Yeah, so it's really
a bit like a tired mother.
Yeah, like a tired mother. So we need to feed her up and make sure that she's
I don't think I've ever fed
strong.
my lemon trees iron, so I'm going to have to get on to that one. So if people do have leaves like this, we need to get some iron into the soil. Should they cut them off or?
No, I don't think there's any need to cut them off. It's just the plant's not getting what it needs to the leaf tip. It's not that the leaf is damaged or infected or anything. It's just you want to feed the base in the soil and the tree, and then they should come good. And this just makes the iron really accessible to the tree by putting it in a form like this. I've already put some of the power feed into the watering can as well.
So there's no reason why you can't mix all this into one?
No, there's no reason. All right, we'll call that good.
We just got our friendly friends doing some hammering up there.
So I've also got the power feed in there. And now I'm just gonna fill my water, mix it up really well so it dissolves. And we'll just water that around the base of the tree. I do have my automatic watering system going once every few days.
If anyone wants to check that out, by the way, I'll stick a link in the description. Don't go and watch it now. Wait till this video is finished. And just to show you why it's necessary, here's some yellowing leaves we're talking about. These are the leaves that need iron.
So I'll do this now, and then if the leaves don't sort themselves out in a couple weeks, I'll come back and do it again.
Would you add iron if you didn't have the yellowing problem?
Yeah, I think it would probably be a good preventative. It's certainly not going to do any harm. Doing it once a year at least, I think is good practice. Like I said, at late winter, early spring, when the fruiting's all done, and you can see here that the tree is putting its energy into all this new growth, and so it needs a lot more energy as it grows for spring, and it's also producing buds as well.
Talk to me about pruning lemon trees. Do you need to, and how and when and why?
I think it's not 100% essential. Like if you forget to do it, it's not going to mean that you don't get any lemons. I like to do it as part of my annual boosting for the tree, so that when it is creating the new growth, it's not creating it in the places that I don't want it.
Okay.
So I like to do it after it's made fruit and it's kind of in its recovery phase, and that I take out any branches that are kind of crisscrossing each other, or ones that are particularly diseased, or if they're just really, really crowded. Sometimes you might make a prune and then 5 branches will come off in the same spot, and there just won't be enough air circulation, and that's when you can get more diseases as well. So first of all, this is on a path, so I don't want it to be coming out very far. So I might take this one back a little bit, and there's a bud and a growth node right here, so I'll just trim that off right there so that it's not coming onto my walking path. And then this area right here you can see is really crowded with lots of little branches, and so I'm going to take out some of them. I don't need all of them, and you just kind of got to make decisions about what you want. I think I'm going to keep this tall one in the center, and I'll get rid of this whole one right here, and that helps the tree to open up. It helps the air circulate, which helps to prevent fungal problems. Now I've got a branch in the back here that's kind of crisscrossing. This one's kind of running into other branches, so I'm going to take that one out as well. I don't need that one. Those are all pretty busy, very crowded spot, and I'm going to take out a few here in the center and down below. I'm also going to do the foliar feed, and it's going to have just a tiny bit of sea salt. It doesn't need much, like a teaspoon each. Epsom salts, another scoop of the iron chelate. My tree's getting a little tall, so I'm not going to be able to do the entire thing with the watering can, but like if you got like a pump spray bottle and then you could spray the whole thing, I should do that as well. So then I'll put this right on the leaves, and that helps just like that. The leaves can absorb the nutrients directly, and it falls down onto the ground as well. And this all works for any citrus. I also have mandarins, limes, and a kaffir lime.
So would you do exactly the same care for all citrus?
I would, yeah. I just kind of make a day of it, or a couple hours to get it all done at once.
On your tippy toes there?
Yeah, that's about as good as it's gonna get.
So we've covered off yellowing leaves. Dude. How long do you reckon he's going to drill for? Because it's a really noisy one.
3 more months.
Okay, we should probably just press ahead then. So we've covered off yellowing leaves. We've covered off how to feed your tree. What about some of the sort of bugs and pests that can cause problems?
For some reason, lemons are so susceptible to bugs and pests. And really, I think there's 3 main ones that are very common. The first one is gall wasp. So anytime you see like a swelling on one of the stems that looks almost like it's
bulge.
It's like a bulge, yeah.
I've
got a few in here. Here's one right here. You can see this bulge where the stem is kind of distended.
Yep.
That is a wasp that has laid its eggs inside of the stem, and its babies will actually hatch out, and then they'll go and infect other trees and other stems. So often if you have a neighbor whose tree is badly infected, you'll find that you'll get it because like they spread, which is really unfortunate. I've never used traps. You can get traps for them.
I saw someone actually hanging a trap in their tree, which I thought was genius.
I've seen those. I've never tried it. I would like to. I've never had such a big problem. Usually I'll either shave off one side of the gall, and then that exposes the baby eggs and kills them.
Do you want to show us how you do that?
Yeah, so you just have to make sure that you don't shave it all the way around, because that's basically ring barking that section of the tree. But so like there's one right here, but you can just shave it and be careful of fingers, obviously.
Oh, be very careful of your fingers. Okay. I have actually done this before with my trees with a potato peeler, which works quite well.
That would work well. So we can just kind of snip off here. And then you can actually see in the little holes there, those are the wasp babies.
And exposing them to the air will kill them.
It will.
Sorry, guys.
See you later.
So you can shave them off.
The other thing that you can do is you can tape them in. So if you wrap a piece of secure tape around the gall, then the wasps can't get out when they try and hatch.
That is genius.
It's gonna dry it off. So the tape will stick to it. And then I'll just wrap that around the gall. And the little wasps can't get out.
Which is probably a really good option if you don't want to cut off thin branches, hey, because if you were to slice it, you're not going to end up with much of that branch.
Yeah, just want to remember to take it off later, but maybe shaving can expose the tree to other problems by like exposing the inner membrane. So I like the taping method.
So we've had to swap phones because mine died. So I'm going to try and stay close because the microphones now aren't working. So apologies if there's a bit of background noise, but we've got 2 more really important things to cover off.
Yeah, so the first one is a citrus leaf miner, a very common bug, and you'll see these little trails being eaten into your leaves, and they literally mine through the leaves. And if it gets out of hand, it can really weaken the tree. And what you want to do for that is spray with an eco oil, and there's directions on there where you put a little bit in a solution of water and then you spray it directly on the affected leaves. And then that is meant to like suffocate the bugs, and they'll drop off. The other thing you want to do, if possible, is to just, if any areas that are really badly affected, like this, you would want to remove it and put it into a plastic bag and put it in the landfill bin, because otherwise they can spread within the green waste bin. Don't put them on the ground near your tree. The other third very common bug, which I think I've actually avoided at the minute, is scale. And what you'll see with scale is you'll see little dots, little kind of oval dots on the underside of your leaves. And what you might also see, and that is the actual scale bug, and they attach themselves to the leaf and they suck out all the nutrients from the leaf.
They're bumpy, aren't they?
They are a little bit, they're very bumpy. You can scrape them. What color? They vary. Orange, I usually get little orange ones. You can scrape them off with your finger. Another indication that you've got scale is that you'll see ants in the tree. The ants will come up and down the tree, and they'll actually farm the scale, because the scale gives off this kind of sweet honeydew substance that the ants eat. So they will propagate the scale. So if you see the ants, you know you've got scale. You want to spray it with the eco oil. And the other thing you can do to keep the ants out is I put a little ring of oily cloth around the trunk, and the ants can't get past it. So that can kind of help as well. So yeah, if you can keep on top of it, then you'll have a really healthy lemon tree that produces for years and years.
I am back home in my garden now, and we have a new lemon tree in my garden, which is partly why I was so keen to learn about it. After talking to Jamie, it's pretty clear to me that these guys don't get fed enough. So I'll try and find all the products that she has recommended on Amazon. That will also make it really easy for you guys to find what you need, and I will put all those links in the description. I've recently signed up to become an Amazon associate, which means if anyone purchases things using that link, I can earn a very tiny commission. If you learnt just as much from Jamie as I did, you will also enjoy these other 2 videos that are about to pop up on your screen now. They're both filmed at Jamie's house. So there's how to set up an automatic irrigation system, and also she gave a full tour of her amazing garden. Virtually everything in her garden is edible. This was filmed about 12 months ago, and I'm going to do another one soon.